Hey everybody, in today's tutorial, I will show you how to make another recessed zipper bag. This is an easier way to sew it. There's no need to make an additional zipper panel like in the last tutorial. This method will simplify the pattern and eliminate many sewing steps. The bag will still be lined and padded. And I'll be upcycling a leather belt. I will show you how to turn it into an adjustable bag strap. So let's move on to the pattern. The bag's finished size is 20 by 20 centimeters. I will show you where everything is, like the anatomy of the bag, so you can tweak the pattern later on. Over here are the front and back area of the bag in its finished size. The bottom of the bag is joined together. We are going to add a 2 centimeter recess area for the zipper. So add that to both the bag's opening. And to sew the bag up, we need 1 centimeter seam allowance all around. We will cut out 1 piece each from the main fabric and the lining fabric. The padding is shorter as it doesn't have the recess area and the seam allowance on the bag's opening. For this piece, try to cut crisp, smooth lines on the short ends because it will affect the bag's opening. The zipper length is shorter than the finished width of the bag. I finished the ends of the zipper with bias tape. This is number 5 nylon zipper that's sold by the yard. Number 5 means the zipper teeth is 5 millimeters wide. We need to install the zipper head. So, like this. We will chuck the zipper tape inside the fold of the bias tape. Go slowly here when you reach the zipper teeth. Hand turn it, stitch by stitch. If you go too fast, the needle will break. I like to sew the zipper tape onto the main fabric first. Mark the center point of the zipper tape and the bag's opening. After we sew the zipper on, we will add the lining piece. If it has a good side, it should be facing downwards. We've got one side of the zipper tape sewn. The other side will be easy, so you just flip the main fabric over the zipper tape, match up the center points, and sew. And then you repeat that with the lining. Flip the lining pieces over so you have the main fabric on one side and the lining on the other. Push the zipper tape into the lining and match the seams in this area. The seams are facing towards the lining. We'll pin this in place and sew down the sides. An important step here is to leave the zipper halfway open. You need this additional hole to flip the bag through. For the lining, we do the same. So push the zipper tape and the seams away and then sew, leaving a hole on one side. Now we sew the padding side and trim off the excess seam allowances. slot it into the main fabric, then flip the back out through the hole in the lining. Now we will recess the zipper. Using the padding as a guide, fold the top down and take some time to adjust it so that it is straight. Then sew across to lock it in place. I did not sew on the side seams. This part will be held down by the straps. You see that the bag now have a nice square shape with recessed zippers, and it's a lot easier than sewing a zipper panel. Do sew up the hole in the lining. You can just top stitch it in place. Now we will do the leather belt upcycle. The one I have is really old and it is falling apart, so I will have to contact glue them together. So look for a belt that is pliable, about 1 inch wide. Mine have a line of stitching which can be taken apart. So this makes it possible to slip the bag in between the straps and sew it in place. So another consideration is the belt's buckle. It is a one-way entry, so it has to face upwards. So here I've cut off the buckle, and to finish the ends of the straps, I knocked some holes and turned it into a loop. So I've added a D-ring to hold my keys, or you can just leave it as it is. The stitching is done with double needles and wax thread. We will mimic the sewing stitches used in the sewing machine. So the thread will loop around the punch holes like a figure eight. And do use the pointy needles because you will have to poke through the bag when you sew it onto the bag. On the other side, I cut off a small length, enough to make a loop on the ends, and also hold a carabiner on top. So now this will go over